What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about 5 things that you need if you are going to get into pickup winding, pickup building, and it would probably, some of this would actually apply to guitar building too, but we're going to talk about 5 things specifically that you need for pickup winding. This is a little different take though. I think, it is my opinion, that a lot of folks do this wrong. They approach it wrong. And as a result, they don't get the results they're looking for. They spend a bunch of money on stuff. They spend a bunch of time on stuff. They waste a bunch of time and end up with a product that they are not happy with, or maybe it's just not up to their expectations, or pickup winding in general is not what they expected it to be, if that makes sense, right? I'm not taking this from I read about this on the internet. I'm not taking this from I'm going to argue with people in the comments about the right way to do things. I'm telling you how I do it. I've been doing it for 11 years full time. This is how I feed my family. And so just going to pass some things on to you that I think maybe even I did wrong and now maybe I've recovered from, but just try to save you the trouble. So let's get into a couple of those things. First of all, in this, if you're expecting me to say buy a pickup winder, it's on the list, but it's not first. The first thing is the mindset. Why do you want to make pickups? You really have to understand that, and you really have to want. Oh, the sun is killing me. You really have to have the mindset. Why do you want to make pickups? First of all, it can't be about the money. Okay? It's got to be because this is something that you really want to do. It's a hobby that you're super interested in. Maybe you're interested in the technical side of it, how it works, like all the, how a pickup works, how the guitar makes sound. You're super fascinated with that, super fun. Maybe you are you just want to know. You want to learn stuff. You want to know stuff. It's really cool, right? Understand that this is an expensive undertaking. So when I say mindset, you really have to make up your mind, be like, I really want to do this. I want to go, and to me, it's an all-in or nothing situation. And the reason I say that is because a lot of people, this is the same thing with guitars. People buy cheap, crappy guitars, and then their fingers hurt, they don't get the results they want, and they quit playing. It's the same thing with this stuff. My question to you would be, because you're going to be like, well, I can't afford the pickup winder that you have. I'm going to give you some options here in a minute. But if this is something that you really want to do, you'll save up the money. Because there's stuff that you do, that you like to do, that you've saved up the money, that you've sold stuff on eBay, that you've come up with it. If you really want to do this, then you should do it right. Well, I can build a pickup winder out of a bunch of drill parts and a sewing machine and a fishing reel. My question to you is, do you want to make a pickup, or do you want to goof around with sewing machines? Because goofing around with sewing machines is also a hobby. It's not making pickups, but it is also a hobby. So if you want to be sewing machine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 expert in the comments, and you can do that. But if you really want to make pickups, buy the right stuff. But this takes the mindset. I am going to spend $1,500 on the right stuff, and I'm going to learn how to do it. In the description, there's going to be a list of everything that I use, and there's going to be also, some of it's on Amazon, some of it's from StewMac, but I'm going to give you 3 different pickup winders for different budgets, okay? So we'll get into the parts and pieces in just a minute. But the mindset thing is really important. And I might have said this, I don't know if I said it or not, don't do it for the money. A person who has built a pickup is not a pickup builder, okay? So I can teach anybody to build a pickup. We've done it. We've taught like 100 people how to wind pickups. Those people are not pickup builders. Some of them, I will tell you a couple of them, have gone on after many hours, hundreds of hours of investing in themselves. They have gotten to the point where they can make money with it. But it's a very long road. So if you're going to do it for the money, understand that there's a huge investment in money and time before you ever make that back. Now, people will look at me and say, well, didn't you start a pickup business with the intention of making money? I did, but I was also in a different place in life. There's a couple things here. Making a pickup and owning a pickup business are two different things. I am a serial business startup, sell person. This is my 9th or 10th that I've done this with. I'm a businessman who likes pickups. Okay, I am not a guy with a pickup winder in his basement who works for an insurance company who is not a business owner, right? Because those are two completely different skill sets. So running a business, starting a business, running a business, marketing a business, doing all those things is different than learning how to wind pickups. Those are two different skill sets. I happen to have both. So just understand that that is a completely different thing. So just wind pickups because you want to do it. And do it because you want to learn how to do it properly, unless you're the kind of person who says, I want to mess with sewing machines. And, understand that that's going to handicap you. It will handicap you. At that point, you have to understand that your goal is not simply to make pickups, it's to goof around with sewing machines and maybe make a pickup. Number 2, you are going to need knowledge. This is a tough one, okay? This is a tough one. When you are in a situation where you're trying to learn a skill, in 2025, the internet is a very big place. But what happens is the majority of people that are on the internet, even those of you watching this now, and I'm just going to call it out, talk about doing a thing, but don't actually do the thing. Okay, so there could be a bunch of people in the comments who, when you look at what they say, well, I know that this pickup has this many winds and this, well, they must be an expert on that. No, he's probably Phil Bob the church bus driver 345 in the comments who's never actually wound a pickup before, who is interested in how it works, but doesn't have any firsthand knowledge. So what I'm saying is, be careful where you get your knowledge from. Get it from people who are doing it now. There's going to be a lot of people say, well, back in my day, or when I was a kid, I used to. You hear these people all the time with like modeling amps. I talk about a Kemper, and these people are like, well, I had a pod back in the... It's not the same. Learn from somebody who's doing it now, the way they're doing it now. Not the way they used to do it, not the way they heard about it on the internet, and make sure that they're actually doing it. Okay? Make sure that it's something that they're actually doing, not something that they're talking about doing. That's a big difference, because the practical knowledge is different than the book knowledge. Anybody can learn Ohm's law, right? Anybody can learn all those, that stuff's in books. But to actually do it is a different thing. To sit behind a winder, do it, learn the skills, and learn it from people that are better than you. When I was in the dirt bike industry, racing motorcycles and building dirt bike parts, I would race with these guys. One of the guys I rode with all the time, he won the Baja 1000 9 times. There's no way I could keep up with him. But I got faster because I rode with somebody that was faster than me. Always find somebody that's faster than you and ride with them. If you spend your time in the comment section or in all these Facebook groups and all these forums, those people, for the most part, aren't going to be faster than you. You're going to not be learning up. So figure out ways to do this. Now, the other thing is, it might cost you money. It might cost you money. If there's a way, and I'm not trying to sell you anything today, I don't have a course in the description. I have none of that. This is literally just knowledge, free. What I would tell you is, if you have a way to pay for it and root out all that crap, join somebody's Patreon, I don't know, that knows what they're doing, then do that. Dive in. invest in yourself. This is an investment in yourself, right? This is you're learning a skill and maybe a vocation in the future. Not that that's a goal, but maybe in the future. So invest in yourself. Like, don't try to figure out the cheapest way to do it. Don't try to figure out the cheapest tools. Don't try to figure out the cheapest way to get the knowledge. Hey, does anybody have this for free? If you have a way to invest in yourself, to root out all of that crap and get really good knowledge, do it. Absolutely do it. You will feel much better about yourself, and you will have a better result sooner, for sure. Related to that too, I think have some humility about this, right? And never give that up. I've been doing this for 11 years, and I talk to pickup builders all the time. I have friends who have been doing it way longer than me, who have been in the business way longer than me, who have been around the business longer than me, and I talk to them all the time. It's a constant state of learning. There's no one way to do this. You're just wrapping wire around magnets, okay? That's all you're doing. So how do we make it more efficient? How do we, making it sound good is its own thing, but making the first one sound like the 10,000th one, that's the skill. So making sure that you can do all that stuff requires a bit of humility and learning from others. Now, I don't mean you trying to tell me how to do it as Phil Bob, the church bus driver 123 in the comments, who is a church bus driver and not a pickup winder. I know how to wind pickups. I'm talking about the folks who are trying to learn from somebody else. Make sure that you learn from somebody else that really knows what they're doing. But also have some humility to continue to learn as you develop this skill. The next thing would be start. Start. Shut the computer off. Shut your phone off. Get away from Facebook groups. Get away from comment sections and do the thing. Actually order the parts. Actually set up a desk at your house. Actually sit down and start to learn, and actually do, right? If you learn and learn and learn and learn and never actually put it into practice, you never actually did anything. You have to do it. And I see that a lot. I see a lot of people who buy a bunch of stuff and then don't use it. So I wonder how many Mojo Tone winders are sitting on benches in closets everywhere, right? It's a $600 piece of equipment that never actually got put into use. So actually do. Now, let's talk about the stuff that you actually need. Not a lot. It's not a lot. It's going to be $1,500, okay? So just, understand that. I'll tell you what, let's just take you around and I'll show you the stuff. I'm going to put a list of it in the description. There's affiliate links down there. You can check the stuff out. You can buy it or not, or you can just shop. But if you're actually going to do, you're going to get the stuff, okay? There's no sewing machines. There's no fishing reels. There's no drills bolted to benches with, a calculator freaking counter thing, right? This is real stuff. So, and you can look at this and you can say, well, you do it for a living and I'm only going to do it, as a hobby. But you still want a successful product. You still want it to work. And good tools make good products when coupled with skill. So, you need way more skill to get a good product out of a crappy tool. Okay? So you're going to get there faster if you have good stuff. Let me take you around and show you. All right, so I'm going to switch to the action cam because it stabilizes a little better. We're going to come over to the winding bench. So the very first thing you're going to need, in fact, I forgot to put that on the list, so I'll put it on the list, is a press so that you can make bobbins, unless you want to buy pre-assembled bobbins. So this is a bobbin that's assembled. Of course, you have a humbucker. You're not going to need a press for a humbucker bobbin because it's injection molded. But typically, one of these little 2-ton presses, you can get them at Harbor Freight or something. I would say get one off of Amazon, but the shipping is super expensive, so just get one at Harbor Freight. That also means you're going to need a magnetizer. Now, you don't need this magnetizer. You just need this magnetizer, which is just a vise with some magnets in it. Very, very inexpensive. This thing costs, I think these are almost $1,000 now. But when you're doing, 50 P90s at a time, so you're magnetizing 100 humbuckers magnets at a time, that thing makes it a lot easier. The next thing you're going to need is a winder. So we've got 3 of them here. I'm going to give you a bunch of links in the description. The Mojotone winder is the thing. If I tell anybody to buy anything to get started to learn, it's going to be the Mojotone winder. It's this guy right here. Now, in the description, I'm going to put the Shatton winder also, because actually I started on a Shatton style winder 11 years ago, and I had 3 of them. I wore them out, and that's why we went to this. I now have 3 of these. Actually, this one's actually for sale. I'd probably sell that for like $400. Hit me on the website, because I don't use it that much because I'm moved on to other things. But that's a really, really good winder. It's worth every penny that you pay for it. It is reliable. I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of magnets on one of these. Not this one. This one has maybe 100 pickups on it, but it was a spare that I had, and I don't need it anymore. This is a Tone Winder ES from Spain. There's a link to that in the description. You can use code Dylan to buy that. This is the manual one, and then this is the CNC one. This one's about, I don't know, these are about $600 too. Fantastic unit. This thing's about $1,200 or $1,300. It depends on the exchange rate. And it's fantastic too, but it's a CNC winder. This carriage moves back and forth and does a bunch of fancy things and programmable and everything, and I can use it for a lot of stuff when we're really doing a lot of scale stuff. So on the winding department, that's what you need there. Now, let's go over to the assembly side, because we have our assembly bench over here with all of our assembly parts. Obviously, we need a soldering iron, which I left on earlier when I was making stuff. This is a Heiko 888 XD, I think. It's about $120. There's also about a $50 option by Weller that I used for many years that I put in the link in the description. We have a Fluke 115. Gotta have a good multimeter. Oh yeah, Kester 6040 solder is also there. Excuse me. The Fluke 115, just a good multimeter, but that one's been super reliable for me for a long time. And then a wax pot, which it might surprise many of you, but this literally is the wax pot that I use. This is a $20 Amazon crock pot. And I have done, I've done 12,000 pickups in crock pots. This is the 3rd one because they burn up after a while. And that is, that's what I use. It's awesome. It works good for me. We got a solder extractor. We got other little, hand tools, obviously, that I use. Those are really it. I mean, you need a few things to get started. And yes, it's going to be $1,000 or $1,500 to get everything you want, including, some materials and stuff, right? And you can go to Mojotone, you can go to Stumac, you can go to a lot of places to get parts. We don't talk about where we get our parts from. It's taken me, 12 years to get my supplies kind of dialed in. We do sell some kits here. So, I told you I wasn't going to sell you a bunch of stuff, so I'm not. But we do have like little Stratocaster and Telecaster kits that you can buy from us. So that's pretty cool. So you can make those pickup kits. You still need to buy your own coil wire and all that kind of stuff. But that's it. I mean, the biggest thing is the mental side of this. The biggest thing is getting over trying to do it the cheapest way possible. The biggest thing is, do you want a good result or do you want to mess around with sewing machines or whatever? You know what I mean? I'm using that as a metaphor, but it's really true. You want to have a good result, right? And ignore the internet. Find some folks that really know what they're doing and ignore everybody else. That's what I do. Anyway, I just want to share that with you. It's a little different style of video. I think that it's important though, because we get a lot of questions that I just feel like are a waste of time. I mean, I'll answer them, so I don't feel like it's a waste of time, but I feel like you asking the question is a waste of time because it's taking you off of the actual goal of getting the thing done. So go out there and do. Don't worry about what the internet says. Make it happen. And we'll see you in the next video. Do me a favor and like and subscribe and hit the bell notification. I will tell you about Patreon. So Patreon, we have 10% discount on everything we make here at Dylan Talks Tone if you join Patreon. Tonight is the last Monday of the month. And the last Monday of the month, we do a live hangout where we get together with everybody on Zoom. That is on one of the levels on Patreon over there, and actually one of the YouTube member levels as well. It's the highest one. And we do a live hangout on Zoom every month. You could join for 1 month just to see what it's like. And if you think it's stupid, you don't have to do it again. But I think you would enjoy it. And it's a way that you can, if you're interested in this stuff, we do have some people who have learned how to wind pickups. They're in there every month. They're asking questions. Super cool. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I just want to let you know that it was there. I actually just now thought of that. We're doing it tonight. So if you're seeing this video on the 31st of March, 2025, we're doing it tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So, you could still get in on that as of the time of this video. If you're seeing it in the future, it's the last Monday of every month. So, thanks for hanging out, you guys. We'll see you in the next video. Talk to you soon.